Hello to everybody, our dear subscribers. FutureTrend channel is glad to welcome all of our readers. Today is 5th of April 2019, the day of publication of probably the most important economic indicator coming from the United States, the so-called Payrolls report. The market should especially concentrated around the inflation component of the report and average hourly earnings. We'd like to remember you that last time this component reached the level of 0.4%, and for today the market's expectation is around 0.2% rising, and any kind of reading at this level or probably of above of it should indicate about a rising inflation in the United States, and in this case we correspondingly should expect the higher United States currency. Overall, also the market is really very buoyed. I mean, the risk on sentiment is really very buoyed at the moment by expectations of final improvement of the trade agreement between the United States and China. But here we'd like to pay some attention of you that by the rumor cell the factor could play its role, because in case of final agreement between the two economic nations, the so-called risk-on environment could abruptly reach the so-called climax, and in this case we should expect some retreat in such kind of pairs, like for example the dollar yen, which is really looks really very buoyed at the moment, trading about the highs of 111.70, final closing above the highs of March, registered around 112.14, could bring the pair some higher. We should also understand that finally we are trading above the moving average 200 daily line located at 111.48, and that's from technical basis is another reason of continuing bullishness in the currency. Also, you could see that we are crossing the downtrend line that were drawn from the highs registered in November of 2018 at the highs of 114.04. As regarding some other currencies, the euro-dollar continued to look more or less stable, but anyway retreated from the highs registered during this week around 112.55 to the lows of yesterday around 112.05. Overall, the pair continue to probably to slightly trade to the upside, because we are at the lower side of the existing channel. We are at the lower side around the lows registered in 2018 at 111.77. It's kind of it sounds like a poem. So, as regarding the euro-dollar, we continue to suggest that probably we reached a kind of interim bottom, and probably despite of the final verdict of today's United States economic data could slowly progress to the upside. But we continue to suggest that only a final break above 114.15, where lies at the moment the so-called downtrend line. Also not far from here lies moving average 200 daily line. Only in case of final crossing to the upside from its moving average 200 daily line located today at 114.58, the pair could really change its sentiment further to the bullish side. Sterling, a lot of will depend, of course, on continuing voting regarding the Brexit deal, and here the situation is not so welcome. Probably anyway now, as you could see, the pair is looking a little bit supported, reaching the level of 131.23. It's higher than the lows of yesterday, reached at 130.60. But a lot will depend on the final approval of British Parliament of the so-called divorce deal between the Britain and European Union. A lot will depend on today's European Union decision for how long European Union will be ready to prolong the so-called Brexit negotiation process. The deadline for the UK finally go apart from the European Union. So we continue to suggest that only in case of final approval of the Brexit deal the cable could receive a portion of support. Till then, the situation should remain quite fragile for the British currency, and we should pay a lot of attention to any kind of British pound crosses. The dollar Swiss continue to trade around the parity level. We are very close to reach our stop loss with existing short position that were accumulated at the level of 99.95. We have a stop above 10025. Anyway, we continue to suggest that sooner or later the dollar Swiss will be back to the downside. At the moment, it's hard to say what kind of reason will be behind such kind of move. Anyway, we continue to suggest that the pair should sooner or later reach its uptrend line located at 98.55. Probably this is the place to close existing short positions in the currency. For those of you who are looking for our other parts of analysis, for example the analysis of euro crosses, here it is. There we don't have any kind of positions right now. As regarding commodity block of currencies, here we a little bit more optimistic. We continue to suggest that such kind of currencies like the Kiwi dollar or the Aussie dollar especially could receive a kind of relaxing boost in case of final agreement or trading agreement between the United States and China. And as regarding Canadian dollar, also today you should pay attention to employment change and unemployment rate in Canada, and for sure the result of these indicators should move the loonie. As regarding dollar ruble, we continue to suggest that from a longer term point of view, the Russian ruble continue to look especially undervalued, and we suggest that sooner or later also the Russian ruble could strongly move to the upside. At the moment, that's all. Our dear subscribers, we hope that today's analysis was more or less useful for you and efficient for you. Thank you, take care, and have a nice weekend.